everybody, and welcome
to
Nerdsplaining podcast. I'm host Eric De Silva. With me is always. Jose
What
Romero.
up? How you doing?
I am doing very well, sir. Thank you for being available because this is a very special recording of Nerdsplaining.
Thanksgiving morning. So we wish everyone out there happy Thanksgiving first and foremost. Be safe, eat well, blah, 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 blah. Tryptophan coma pending circa, I say, around 3:30, 4 o'clock for me. We usually eat early in my house, but yeah.
That is that's domestic heroin right there, the tryptophan. Like, oh man, let it ride. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Yeah, hit, baby, need a hit. Tomorrow, my turkey sandwiches and for the next 2 or 3 days.
Forget about it.
I like Thanksgiving. I don't know why.
And then you literally go cold turkey, and it is a very bad time for everybody. Hey! I'm trying to keep it classy for the children's. Mommy, what's cold turkey? Son of a bitch! Who taught you that? That's the cleanest
Thanksgiving. We'll keep it clean today, as best as possible. It is a national holiday. Yada. Football's on. Everybody's excited. Yada.
Happy colonizer time, guys. Boom, boom, boom. Line is fun.
Oh man! But that being said, before we get to the feast of what is Thanksgiving, there are some nuggets. These are appetizers for today, right? It is.
A little excitement. You can get you to the main course of it. Yeah.
Nerd shows that dropped. Cowboy, Bebop, Hawkeye, and what's the last one? He-Man. Well, Masters of the Universe. Whatever. With the hate, we'll continue. We'll talk about that. I'm sure. Actually, I haven't even checked to see what people thought about. To be honest with you, for that show anyway, I am kind of curious. Yeah, because the first one people were walking arms about, but whatever. We'll get to that eventually. But this week, we got a lot of things, a lot of fun stuff. We got one bad story, which I'll probably start off with the worst story and kind of build from there. But we do have Johansson, Disney kissing and makeup, I guess. We have James Bond asking for his ketchup shaken and not stirred, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So let's start with the worst one. It's just Thanksgiving. Let's get this out of the way, and then we give thanks to the good stuff that we're gonna get momentarily here.
Absolutely.
And this one, some really sad news here. Very sad news. Recently, we learned that Disney extended the contract for one Kathleen Kennedy through 2024. So we get 3 more years, almost 2 years of this bullshit that is Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, God. And it's funny because we talked about her, I think last show, or 2 shows ago. Could have been last show, but the whole thing about the Rogue Squadron, that being, scheduling conflicts, whatever. And I guess the reports came out soon after that, which we talked about that day, where it was reported conflict of interests, creative differences, which that's made more sense than the scheduling bullshit that came out. So here we go again with Kathleen Kennedy, the same nonsense. We've seen this with like at least 3 or 4 times with her. And then she comes down, talks about, had an interview with her. She's talking about how, thinking about, bringing back, I'm paraphrasing, some of the characters from the last trilogy. Does anybody really want to see any of these characters from that trilogy? Shouldn't we just kind of move away from that as far as possible? So she's back. So this sucks.
Okay.
This plain sucks. Go ahead, man.
I'm sipping my tea before I speak. I'm joking. I drink coffee. Go after yourself with tea. But macchiato. So here's the thing. I know the sequel trilogy was hot garbage, but we've talked about this. I think we even talked about it in our first episode. The main problem with the sequel trilogy is that The Force Awakens was so good that it made promises it did not keep, and we felt betrayed. Like, you lied to us, Force Awakens. You made us feel like this was going to be great, and it is not. I don't like you anymore. So, but if you could take that original Force Awakens feeling and said, okay, so look, no matter about anybody else, how cool is Rey and Finn and Poe? Imagine what could happen if you take it on what those characters were supposed to be. I am kind of interested in certain dynamics. I literally find Poe Dameron a great Han Solo for this era, and I'd like to see Han Solo-y adventures. I think it'd be really great. I want to see him find his Chewie and have a whole thing. Make it interesting. Don't give me the same thing, but I could see something really cool with that. Then, if they actually do the storyline that we're supposed to do, which is Rey teaches Finn the ways of the Force, I'd like to see that because his character was so like John Boyega feels exactly the way we do. I was sold a bill of goods, and I was not given any
a lot of
those
accusations,
things.
right or wrong. I can, if they bring back Finn, it won't be Boyega. I think he made that perfectly clear in his word. Yeah, this is a while back he talked about it. Yeah,
I know, but he just did another interview recently, actually like 2-3 months ago, where he talked about the idea of maybe Finn coming back for Disney Plus, and people were like, "Wait a minute, you said they're not going to Disney Plus me, and now you're." And I remember, which, first of all, not going to Disney Plus me is so much funnier.
Oh my god!
Now
it was great then, I thought, but now you're right. But I mean, listen, money talks, money, right? Let's be. Everybody talks. Everyone wants to, what is this guy? Not Ethan. Is it Ethan Hawke? No. What's this guy we talked about? Who bemoaned, Scarlett Johansson taking all the money. What's this guy's name? The actor from Blade. Stephen Dorff.
Oh,
yeah, the other guy was. Not me. Not me. Oh, yeah. But let's see how quick that lasts.
Yeah. It's great when you're not even on the list that you can be above it all and go, me? I mean, no, not me. Oh, not me. No, it wasn't a proclamation. It was ascertained. Oh, not me. I can't do it. Oh, not me. That's what that was. But the other way around is when you see how much money What If and Loki and Mandalorian is making, hey, you want a little bit of this? Yeah, please. A little bit of that would be fucking fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So, so that's what I'm saying. And let's face it, the only reason Kathleen Kennedy has her job right now is the amount of money they've made off The Mandalorian. If it wasn't for The Mandalorian, there would be nothing.
That was really her saving grace, is that. And I'll give credit to that. I think it's Jon Favreau, but so he's in charge.
But she approved Jon Favreau.
She's in charge. Yeah, so I'll give her. I'll give her credit for that. Like, I'll give her shit when it's even not her fault. She's in charge. It's how it goes, right?
Right.
Starts at the top. So fine. I agree with you. If it wasn't for that, she'd be. Man, it'd be
like Rogue Squadron was too far back to warrant any kind of credit at this point. Unfortunately, that's the way business works. So it's all about what have you done for me lately, basically. And
the story, just because I don't know why the thing is, and now when I read deeper into it, like the script hadn't been done yet. Why are you announcing movies and the script's not even done yet? You haven't agreed with the director, and then you make an announcement, commercial for an intro. You could have waited, not said a word, right? But as I'm saying, it's just that's her, right? She's at the top. She makes that choice.
Well, I mean,
it is what it's worth.
She also made the choice this year to give us every Star Wars fan almost nothing. In terms of like what to look forward to as well. So in terms of promotion, she either over or undersells. I'm like, lady, just give me like, if you can't give me a thing with like a video, don't fucking say anything.
Don't say anything. Why don't you let's start production and then make an announcement at this point. Let's just start it.
No, don't even start production. Announce that you signed a director and a lead actor. Well, those two things.
Maybe both at the same time. I'll give you that. But
that's what I'm saying. That's how you do it. Like if you're gonna give us anything, give us like your current title card, and then the director and the actor, and if you can do the writer, or a trifecta of those, like three major talents.
Have a script ready.
Or even a writer and director. That also works too. So people are like, oh shit, this is a real thing.
Because by that time, I'm sure that the writer director has spoken, have a vision, which they have shared with Kathleen Kennedy.
And they've agreed, like, we want to do this.
I like what's going on. Yeah, right. Why hire her, then come afterwards? I don't like that. I'm out. It just doesn't make any sense. You got to vet your director. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, so we got 2 more years. Listen, I'll say this. I don't think we're going to get any movies back to 2024 at this rate.
They still have the Taika Waititi movie.
Well, right, but he hasn't started production, so it's going to take at least a year and a half.
But at least he's scripting. So writer, director.
For now, again.
So I mean that counts.
It counts. But I'm talking about being released by 2024. I'd be shocked. Maybe if they can start like early next year, it's possible we get it for Christmas. Christmas 2024. But
Right.
whatever. But I'm hoping not, because that way, if it does well, I don't want Kathleen Kennedy to get more credit. And there's more reason to sign her on for another extension. You know what I'm saying? The shows are what they are. Shows are going to be good because we got Jon Favreau and Filoni doing what they do, and that's great. And Kathleen Kennedy gets credit for that. But again,
look, Kathleen Kennedy is like a boss villain in a video game, like the higher level bosses, which is she may not hit you all the time. But if she lands 30% of her attacks, she's gonna wipe out your mana and you're dead. And so far, she hits you 30% of the time, but they are major success blows.
But she gets she has the big weak points. You shoot directors at her. Can I hurt her?
I mean, yeah, but you have to be in the position to actively attack.
I know, yeah. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of your power to bring her down, and she takes a couple of hits and you're dead. It's like, you know what? It's Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
And you
punch a couple. No, he doesn't go down. He just pulls back. Bam! It's a wrap.
The only people that are able to get close enough to her are Favreau and Filoni, and they're too busy on a Kookaboo side quest to unlock a magical weapon. Like, motherfucker, like, just beat the game so we can relax. Like, no. We want a sword that hums a tune to I Love Lucy when you call a summoning. Like, God damn it! Like, just kill the monster already, please. I want good stuff, and you guys obviously know how to get there. You're just right there. Sephiroth is right there.
Oh, good God! Oh, well.
All right.
2025. Cheers to you. Hopefully we get a different outcome here. Next, though, let's get to the good stuff here. So let's start with kind of a silly story, but I'm a big fan of The Rock, of course. So let's bring him up.
No.
What? Seriously? So we have here Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He was doing an interview, and apparently I didn't know that his grandfather was a villain or something, a henchman in one of the James Bond films back in the day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he has some lineage there. But so that topic came up. Daniel Craig's out of here. So they're talking about it, and he expressed his desire to play Bond, not a villain. He doesn't want to do a villain. I don't know why I think he's better villain, to be honest with you. But he wants.
I was just thinking about him as a villain would be a lot of fun.
Right, a lot of but he wants to play Bond. So listen, movie catch up. Big fan of The Rock. I love The Rock, but there's no chance this works. I don't see him as Bond. As much as I love The Rock, let's be honest. Listen, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
We would sooner see Idris Elba as Bond than The Rock.
Oh yeah, and I'd rather see Idris Elba.
The Rock has to be, unfortunately, it has to be British. You could race change him. You could sex change it. Bond could be any version of a person that is British. They have to be British.
Unless I maybe he can. I don't know if he can do the accent. I doubt it, but maybe he can. English actors do American accents, vice versa, all the time. So
okay, listen.
I don't think he can. Let's be real.
We love The Rock. I love The Rock way more than I do. I appreciate The Rock.
Love The Rock. Yeah.
Love The Rock. Let's just be honest. If The Rock, who I appreciate and you love, could not sell us on the fact that his leg was make believe, there's no way he's going to sell me on his make believe accent.
I cannot disagree. I can't disagree, but I mean, it's not gonna happen, and I don't want to see that. It's never gonna happen. But it won't happen. There's no chance.
What if crazy idea? Bond has to go undercover, so they create a hologram over his body, and it's The Rock.
He goes to the States.
He goes to the States. He goes deep.
Come stateside.
It's like Face Off.
Well, like Face On, I guess.
A Face On because it's hologrammy, so you get a little bit of that Mission Impossible, a little bit of like that Marvel spy aspect. You get all that kind of face thing and all. Oh man, yeah, that's it. Yeah. I sold it.
That's the only way. That or again, the villain thing. He says he won't play, but I think he'll be a great villain. To be honest with you.
Actually, if he played the villain, but you still want it to be Bond, you know what they could do? They could do a situation where there is a CIA American agent that has a rivalry with Bond.
Sure.
And that rivalry extended him to go bad. And Bond, of course, because that rivalry was the one who specifically got him just to throw it in his face. And so now he's coming after Bond to just show him, you got lucky and I'm better than you. And you have that as, there's your fucking Bond movie right there.
If they want, but that's never gonna happen. But yeah, there's no version of this, and it's funny because following those footsteps, Tom Holland said he had desire to play Bond. I love Tom Holland, but that's never gonna work either.
Too small.
Too small.
Too short of a guy.
Yeah, too young looking. He doesn't have that little grit to him. Like a kid in the tuxedo. It just doesn't work.
Think of it this way: Daniel Craig in Casino Royale looked like a guy who had to watch his friend die while killing the guy who killed his friend.
Right. Yeah, he had that.
He had that look in his face.
He had that grit. Just weathered, just sour. Yeah.
Like let me preface by saying this: my favorite James Bond of all time is Roger Moore, because that was the Bond that I first got exposed to as a kid and imprinted. Like, Bond is this.
Gotcha.
But it's the same reason why, as much as I hate the Ewoks, there's a little part of me that's always gonna like them. I just saw them at an age where things imprinted, and now they're like the base of the they're the tiles of the fundamentals of me. So I can't hate it, but I'm like, you could do better.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And so to me, as much as I love more Bond, Daniel Craig has really encompassed what. If you're going to stick to a more gritty, real-world Bond like the Craig movies has, you got to get someone like Craig.
Yeah, no, you do that. Yeah.
And so if you're too babyface, it doesn't.
It doesn't work. Come on, it doesn't work. I like him. There's nothing against him. He's just not the right fit. It is what it is. Idris Elba, Henry Cavill. He was. Those are the guys that.
Henry Cavill.
I think he'd be
Elba
great.
would be two really great.
I think
picks.
each
Absolutely.
one. I would love to see either one. I just might be a little bit older. It's fine. I get it. But if we're a little bit younger, Henry Cavill, I think he'd be just perfect fit for him. He's got that look, he's got that, because we've seen him kind of in the dark side, either with Mission Impossible, even The Witcher. No, he's not that baby face. He's a good looking guy.
Can he have the mustache?
No stash. He can have a real stash, I guess. But no, he can do it. We see him do that, and he's got the physicality, behind it. So you buy him in the road. He's a good looking guy. So James Bond's got to be a good looking guy, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
It is what it is. So. But yeah, so that's kind of funny thing I saw. But yeah, I love you, Rock. But no, it's not gonna happen. Sorry, buddy. No. Next one.
Hey, Rock. Why don't we just stick to Black Adam fighting Superman?
Figure that out. You go.
Make sure that happens.
Get that right.
Work on everything else,
and then we'll talk about Bond.
You just became a superhero. Play your cards right, and we might give you XXX.
We'll save
just
that for another day.
No promises. I'm just saying.
Let's not ruin his career. This next one, this is an interesting one. So we have Michael Keaton, who was on Jimmy Kimmel. I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It could have been last week. And they were talking about, I guess he had Dope Sick, which is on Hulu, a TV show he's doing. Good show. And at the end of the interview, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And paraphrasing again, I gotta go. I gotta start shooting scenes for Vulture. Vulture scenes he's got to do. He didn't specify what project, but those are his words on the show, and they're legit. So it's like, okay, so now we're confirmed that his role as a Vulture is going to appear at some point. Well,
you know what? It could go two ways. I think he's lying. He's already taped it, but he's saying that to sort of drop and build it enticement.
It kind of seemed like he was really just talking, and he just kind of came out like, "Oh, I gotta go tomorrow." Like it was serious. It wasn't like he wasn't asked
he's
about
an actor.
it.
He totally
he is
falsify emotions and
he could. I mean, I'm just saying it looked legit for it, but I mean. But it does fall in line. Well, listen, people said, "Oh, he's gonna be Spider-Man." He's not doing reshoots for that. That movie's in the can. That movie's coming out in a month.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's
I'd be shocked.
I don't think.
Yeah,
if he is in that movie, he's already taped it.
It's already right. That's done. If he's not going back for reshoots for that, I'd be shocked.
But Doctor Strange.
That's the one that I think makes sense because with that story, it came out the news that there was going to be a significant reshoots for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I heard something like they're going back into like 5 or 6 weeks worth of production just for. Oh, I was like, wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, it's not unusual. It doesn't mean that it's bad or good. Nobody gets excited.
Right.
Oh, people hear that thing. Oh, they fuck it up. No, the reshoots are always scheduled.
And actually, they move the movie back.
Right.
So now it makes sense.
Maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe what they did wasn't good, and that's possible. But maybe they could be adding stuff, so that will make sense there. Right,
I heard,
or maybe we saw him as Michael Keaton as not in the suit, but in Morbius. We've seen it. Maybe he's reshooting for that. That movie comes out in 2 months, so maybe. But Doctor Strange is the one that kind of makes sense, just from a timeline basis, right? They're reshooting So
I heard that they tested out Doctor Strange, and the response from the test audiences weren't good.
really, wow,
Not in terms of like this movie's bad, but one of the main questions is, do you feel like this movie lived up to the title, The Multiverse of Madness? And people are like, no, there
oh
wasn't
wow,
enough. So
okay,
they said, in that case, we got to bump up the multiverse shit to make it look like
okay,
that there's universes upon universes. And so I heard that a lot of these reshoots and stuff they're doing is to include more characters and more aspects of like what the multiverse could look like and what to expect coming to the Marvel universe. So it's almost like, holy shit, there is literally a multiverse of shit that's gonna come. And that's what I heard. And if that's the case, it would make sense that they would have Vulture there, because Vulture would be an aspect of like the Sony Marvel universe, whatever aspect you want to put in
right,
there,
right.
whether it's connecting to Morbius or to Spider-Man. Having him there just for a second reestablishes that, for lack of a better term, a connective tissue. So I think that's what's going on with that. From what I heard, it makes sense if you're going to make it, if they have to really bump up like how big this storyline is, you got to show how big the scope
No,
is,
I agree. So I mean, but it's strange that people have that reaction, because I assumed they were going balls to the wall with this. Maybe not. Apparently not. I don't know.
Apparently, we're being a little more
Right.
conservative. They realize they
So
got
I
to go
mean,
balls to the wall.
like I said, it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, him shooting, I would say that makes sense. It's not Spider-Man. I'd be shocked if it's going back at this point of the game. That movie's ready to go. It's in this being shipped out. I mean, yeah, there's no way for that.
And maybe if he is appearing in Doctor Strange, it's referential to Spider-Man because he's in
Right.
Spider-Man
Exactly.
too. So
Yeah.
there could be a moment where they're showing the connective moment there. So that might be
Right.
something
Plus,
that
it
makes
comes out
sense.
after Morbius, which we see Michael Keaton in. So
Exactly. So it still keeps
right,
it in
maybe
line of the
little
continuity. Yeah.
continuity. So that makes sense. So, but yeah, that was kind of interesting. So I love Michael Keaton. I love Michael
Okay.
Keaton. So yeah, the more him we get,
Hell yeah.
bring it on.
I was happy he didn't die in Homecoming because I knew that just meant more
Right.
Michael Keaton at
Exactly.
some
Yeah. So
point. So
everybody
it's
wins
pretty.
here, no
Yeah.
matter which film he's going to be in. It's all great. This next
Yeah.
was an interesting one because we talked about her with Scarlett Johansson, where that she sued Disney. She wasn't getting paid. She wasn't getting her money. After Black Widow being released on streaming and yada yada yada. That has since settled out of court. Of course it did, because Disney. Yeah,
She got paid out.
Disney's stupid for trying to ride this out. That didn't make any sense. That was just
Yeah.
bad business. It's really bad. Just pay her. This is exactly what never happened. You could have paid her behind the scenes. Nobody would have found out. Nobody. Whatever.
It cost you an extra zero,
Who
but that's
cares?
all
It's
it
chump
cost
change.
you.
Stop it. Yes, chump change. So either way, so Kevin Feige was some event, and he said that he confirmed, that's his words out of his mouth, that they are working with a project with Scarlett Johansson that's non-Black Widow related. He said a secret Marvel project, non-Black Widow related. So I'm like, okay, so it seems like it's not A-Force or anything. It's the first thought people came to mind. Oh, A-Force, non-Black Widow related. So yeah, so I'll ask you, Eric. You kept it very vague, but I mean, who could she play? What character could you see Scarlett Johansson appearing in or starring in?
There's a couple I could see her doing that I would like to see. Like automatically, I don't know how the rights are. I hope it's possible. I would love to see Scarlett Johansson as Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman.
Interesting choice.
I would like, as soon as you said not Black Widow, I was like, oh man, imagine her with the black hair and the red and gold costume. Yeah, Spider-Woman right off the bat. I was like, that would be freaking fantastic. I would love to see that. Other characters that might be interesting for Scarlett Johansson to play. Let's see. No, Jocasta doesn't really fit into anything right now. Jocasta would be the android wife of Vision. I thought that'd be kind of interesting to play, but that would put her too close to the Avengers world. So it's got to be something outside of Avengers.
Maybe it could be within event. I mean, he just said non-Black Widow, but she could play.
Okay,
but
right,
I mean,
so
but you're right. It'd be
Jocasta
kind of
should
weird
maybe
to.
do that.
Well, you know what?
The
right,
face
no,
thing.
I agree. You're right. It's like, yeah, it's.
So I'm trying to. Oh, you know what? Elisa Bloodstone, because they're angling for more of a. They're doing cosmic Marvel, but they're also doing like supernatural Marvel. And Elisa Bloodstone is a monster hunter. So think of like Van Helsing, but for all monsters.
That could be cool because you can tie in stuff like Blade and coming up, maybe.
And Blade, exactly, that kind of stuff. So you can, and once again, it's the Marvel world, but it won't really intersect. I don't think she's ever met. Blade is currently an Avenger, but she's never met the Avengers, or maybe an Avenger, but never like team-wise. So you can keep that distance. So at least Bloodstone would be really cool too.
Yeah, because you're right. I didn't think about that aspect of it when I was thinking about this. Yeah, you can't I mean, you can, but it'd be weird to have her.
Unless she's totally CG.
Right, yeah, if you can't recognize her or
completely.
she's just a voice or whatever, then yeah. But if it's her face,
Right.
it's like, it's weird not seeing Black Widow.
Even though,
and
I gotta say this, they shouldn't do just her voice because then it'd be the
or her. I was
her.
exactly about
So
to say.
let's not
that's a little
do
depressing.
that. Let's do a whole.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So that's something to look forward to. I'm curious to know what this secret project is and whatever. I mean,
Spider-Woman or Lisa Bloodstone. Those are my two calls.
Let's see. We'll probably hear about this.
But that's,
you know,
Jocosa's a dark horse.
Yeah.
But I'm saying specifically Elisa Bloodstone.
Yeah, that's glad they kept her in house, kept her happy, and now she's doing another movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, and maybe she could do some episodes of What If. Now they got to keep her in house anyway. That's how they get everyone to do the voices. Well, already recorded.
Let's see if they want to pay her. They didn't pay her for Black Widow.
It's a streaming problem.
Either way, so last story, and this one I found incredibly amusing. So Thanos, Avengers. Apparently, the story came out where scientists were disproving that Thanos could actually snap. Not necessarily snap away just, half the universe, but more just the physical act of the snap. So they got nothing going on, apparently. There's no pandemic happening.
Well,
so diseases out there that could use some scientific expertise.
Once the COVID vaccine's been figured out, everyone just went, hey guys, let's high five.
Yeah, I know. What's next?
A little drunk. And let's just see what happens. A little break. Let's see what happens. And so it was like,
but it's just, but
you ever watch Endgame?
So maybe they sat around watching Endgame a bunch of times. So, but they say here that let me see. Okay, so this is a couple of things from the article. So while the supernatural part of that is clearly not realistic, the researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology, very reputable institution, found that
I'm in Georgia, so I feel very, very connected to the story now. I'm very scared. I have no idea what you're about to say.
So they found that the act of Thanos snapping his fingers while wearing the Infinity Gauntlet was actually impossible to pull off. In order to pull off such a fast maneuver, the study says, actually the study, that's the worst part. The study says the most important component is friction. Researchers found that attempting to snap while wearing metal gloves doesn't generate enough friction. Quote, our results suggest that Thanos could not have snapped because of his metal armored fingers. So it's probably the Hollywood, I'll say this again, it's probably the Hollywood special effects rather than actual physics at play. Well, no fucking shit. It's Hollywood special effects, idiot. It's a fucking movie, for Christ's sake. Everything was going okay until he mentioned that part. It's probably Hollywood special effects. Duh! Guess what special effects? Thanos is not real either. He's probably special effect too. Wow. What is the world coming to? From the folks at the Georgia Institution.
I didn't say Georgia had the best scientists.
Clearly.
To ever be considered the best of something, you have to acknowledge there is the worst of something. For every doctor who's at 100, there is a scientist who's at 1.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, first of all, like I said, why do this study? Fine, whatever. They're fucking around.
It's the holidays.
They got nothing to do. Whatever. I mean, I can see them talking about it. I wonder if, just joking around, right? Nerd talk. To do actual studies to get these results, as if they can actually quantify the power of Thanos, right? He's not even human, for Christ's sake.
Regardless of all that, you have to consider this. It was made from fucking space god metal. You don't know the properties of space god metal. All we got here is at the best some titanium. That's it. These guys are making things forged in the heart of a sun. You're gonna tell me, oh, that's the snap. That's Hollywood. You don't know shit about scientists, Georgia. I'm telling you right now, you're an embarrassment.
It really is an
entire organization
to humanity, for Christ's sake. So It's probably special effects. No shit, Sherlock. Come on, man. God. No wonder. I don't know what I get into. I don't want to, impugn the scientific community.
This is why other planets don't talk to us. Do you understand that? They're like, where are they at? They just proved that a magic glove from a movie with a giant purple alien attacks the world
See,
superheroes. Couldn't have happened because it was Hollywood special effects. All right, fuck them. We're out of here. Next planet.
this is why people don't want to get vaccinated. In fact, see that as soon as they do, it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, scientists say what? See, this we don't trust the scientific community for this
See?
very reason.
For the past like 4 years, I've been thinking this is real, and now finally scientists
Oh my
saying
god,
it's not. Like, what? What is it? I can't believe my own eyes, my own ears. Can't do it.
and it's funny because there's no article. They're working on the validity of Santa Claus. So we'll find out soon if he's real or not. So stay tuned for that. Might as well because it's the same shit. I don't know what to say. Scientist, worst. I swear to God.
Should we make it a rule that scientists are no longer allowed to investigate make believe? Can we make that a rule? Like, you can make up make believe, but you can't base your makeup on make believe.
They'll just chalk it up to Hollywood effects. No, okay, sure.
Exactly. Like, you guys can say, for the way the universe to work, there has to be something called a quark. Have you ever seen a quark? No. But based on our numbers, for everything to work, there's got to be a thing called a quark. You just made up a make believe. Your make believe wasn't made up on make believe. You said, this is the universe. It works like this. How does that work? So you made something up to fill up the little hole of the thing you didn't know. But you can't make an answer on a thing that we all know isn't real. You can't base a theory off a quark because a quark isn't real. No, we're not allowed. Make believe stays out of your hypothesis.
Stick to reality, people, for Christ's sake. They need something to do. That's clearly they need. There's not enough on their plate, so it is what it is. So those are the nuggets for your Thanksgiving day. Hope you enjoyed them.
We've been passionate. We've been disappointed. We've been enthralled. We've been
dumbfounded.
Left pondering. Dumbfounded.
Everything.
All these things. This is a major.
This is a very
episode, guys.
Very, very nuggets that we had here. So it's very interesting. It's like a potluck. Everybody brought something different in. Some stuff was good. Some stuff wasn't. So it fits in line with today. So I'm happy about that. But that being said, there is a main course. 3 servings. And we'll start with the first one, Eric. And that's Cowboy Bebop. Which I'll say scientists, the time right now, this is also impossible. It's all special Hollywood effects. I just want to throw it out there.
I believe they're jump gates, and we can just
that's
go
my theory. I
and,
can work on proving it, but we'll get to that at a different show. But
I just told you can't base your theory on make believe. That's not a theory. That's you.
We have an animated basis out of, so maybe that works.
You're being a dumb. Don't be a dumb, please.
So this is one we're looking forward to. Very popular anime. And this show has gotten mixed receptions. I think it's by audience and critics. It's not just the critics. That's the first thing people turn to, which I get. But yeah, I guess the audience is kind of split. And, it came out, Netflix, 10 episodes, right? I think so, yeah. Varied times, 35 minutes to an hour, depending on which episode you saw. So, yeah, I mean, Eric, what do you think about this attempt at, bringing the anime to life here?
I liked it. I thought it was a fun. Was it the greatest thing ever? No, it wasn't the greatest thing ever. Was it exactly like the anime? No, it wasn't exactly like the anime. But it was fun. It was enjoyable. I have a friend that I tried to, years ago, show them the episode, the animated series, the anime of Cowboy Bebop. And they're like, I don't like it. And then I told them, hey, the live action is on. Give this a shot. And they checked it out like, wow, this is great. I'm 3 episodes in. I really, thanks. Like, it goes, to me, like, that form of it connected to people who don't get anime.
Yeah.
And it's essentially like the DNA of the anime is in every episode. Is it 100%? No. It stretches and wings to tell the story the way they want to tell it. But it's appealing to people who don't like anime. It's appealing to people who are not aware of the Cowboy Bebop anime mythology. They're just watching it for the first time. I think everyone that's mad of this live action series is mad because the series doesn't automatically feel like the entire anime did for them. Like that, those 2 seasons and a movie really covered a feel and a tone. And the problem is, whenever a series ends, you can always look back long and late at the series by the totality of the feeling that the series left you. But if you don't have a connection to that, you're coming in fresh, you can just take it in. Everyone that has that connection to the series is coming in going, why doesn't every episode feel exactly like the series left me at the end? You're too close to it. You got to kind of back away to really kind of appreciate it for the first time. I think that is why the divide is there. And I literally binged all 26 episodes before the live action came out because I wanted to see. So I'm not talking without reference. I literally experienced it and I go, oh, this isn't like the anime, but I like what they're doing. It was fun. There's no part of me thought like, it's like, there were some times where they leaned in more with the people that they were hunting, and I like those. And sometimes they pulled away and they were just like a side distraction to deal with their personal issues, or even give more attention to Savage. Because these are all like reoccurring characters, you have to focus more on them than the bounties. The anime, there were certain episodes it was just about the bounty, and it really wasn't about them. But if you're doing it for like like an American TV series for like 10 episodes, you have to tell a very specific story. You don't have that leeway to kind of ebb and flow. Because think about it, original Cowboy Bebop had 13 episodes or 14 episodes really, or 13 episodes because it's 26, to kind of get a feeling within a season, right? They have 10. So you're not going to get the birth of what the original anime had compared to the birth of what the Netflix live action has. You got to compact that more. So you're not going to get that sort of like free flowing, like get in with the vibe of the series. Yeah. You got to be more like, we're going in.
Yeah, that would have worked like 20 years ago. Because now, anime's from the 90s, so things were more serialized. I mean, episodic back then. So, right. Mm-hmm. We're way past that. we evolved as TV viewers have. Yeah. So that episodic doesn't quite work anymore. So it's got to be more serialized. You need an overarching story. So it's hard to do. It's independent with it just getting a bounty. Okay, next show, and then a bounty. Then nothing's really related. You can't do that. It doesn't work. People want more than that. So I get it. I mean, listen, there's always a danger, and it happens with comic. But anything in a book, people always want to compare it. So I try not to. I try to keep each one separately. One independent of the other. I mean, if you're gonna adapt something, just keep the spirit and the tone. Some of the characters, and it's okay to change shit around. It's fine. I prefer that actually change it, right? Give us something new with the property, right? But still maintain that tone and that theme for the most part,
I like
right?
the 50-50 and with a wavy, like you'd be the 60-40, 70-30.
But you can mix them up. I'm saying, as I said, change the whole story, but I'm saying keep the essence of it and make some stories that change. That's fine. Whatever fits, because the print doesn't always translate to film. It just doesn't. In books and comics, you know how we talk about comics all the time. It can't be exactly like the comic. It just doesn't work. And if that's what you want, you shouldn't be watching any of these translations, because it's never going to be exactly that. It's never going to be that. It's nearly impossible. But overall, I like the show. It was. I mean, it started off kind of weird. It was a little bit wonky at first. The first 2 or 3 episodes, I gotta admit. I was like, I wasn't sure what I was watching here. And I was like, okay, it seemed a little flimsy, little fluff, not much heart to it. Nothing really deep, and as it gets going, that kind of changes as we get more into the story. So, and more into the characters. It wasn't that surface level as what it started off being. It's a good,
absolutely,
it's very stylized. The music's great.
That's one thing no one can complain, is that the music.
Yeah, music is fantastic.
It's
spot on. I love that. The characters are fun. The action is fine. Nothing fantastic. The only really cool scene that I liked was, I think, the second to last episode where he's the flashback episode, which I'll get to in a second, but the aspect of it where he's killing everybody in that and the mob, whatever. He enters the room.
When he walks into the room, it's always like a single shot.
Reminded me of Old Boy. That was really cool.
That was fun.
That was cool. Yeah, but nothing else really stood out. But God, and I hated this. That episode really, just besides that one scene, committed the biggest sin for me. And is never put a fucking flashback scene in the second to last episode. We've seen it happen, and a lot of shows do that. I don't.
WandaVision did that.
No, I don't know why. It ruins the flow, because you get to episode 8, like, okay, it's coming. We're coming to the climax, right? And then take a break and give us back information, which we already knew anyway for the most part. Even if you haven't seen the anime, you can piece it together what's happening. You can give it to us in the episode 7 or 8. I hate when they do that. It just kills momentum. Then you go back to episode 10. It doesn't work. It just does not work.
The idea of it is that they want you to really understand why this is so important to both these guys.
But you could show episode 7 or 8.
You're right, but you're right. Everyone does it the second to last episode, and I think you would have, if you did it like the second to last episode, so you could have the next episode establish the
stakes, whatever, exactly.
The stakes, and then you pay off the next episode
with the last couple and really finish strong, right? It's almost like taking a break. Right, it's like okay, you're getting into.
Well, I mean, yes, I enjoy a good flashback episode.
I do. It's just the placement of it, which is and you can have. I'm not opposed to having a flashback. Just put it in the right place in the story. Okay. Not the very end, right before you get to the climax. It's like okay, it's awkward. So I hated that, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it was fine. I guess it's not a great show. It's not.
I give it like the whole series. On average, I give it. On average, I give it about like a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm a little lower. I'll probably say 6.5 to 7. Depends. Some episodes are better than others. But just overall, it was fun. It's a decent show. It's a good watch.
There's a couple of 8 episodes in there, but it's like only like 2 episodes. I like the rest. Like yeah.
And then I didn't like her turn. If I'm going to nitpick, is her his whatever the name is, Vicious's wife. Her turn.
Tom Savage is Vicious, right?
Yeah, her turn. I didn't buy it. It was so quick. I didn't quite feel that like.
I actually got really excited because
I don't know.
Since that wasn't in the anime, I was like, oh fuck,
that's cool, right? Something different, but just it wasn't. I don't think it was executed well. They didn't build up. Just, I mean, she wants to be with Fearless, and she finds out he's alive, and all of a sudden she hates him. It was weird. I don't know.
I think what was happening was she had remember everything, and once again, I think maybe it's an issue of pacing because that flashback episode reinterprets what you think you're seeing.
Right.
And I think maybe that's why they did it, because they want you to think like she's stuck in that mode. But what we were supposed to realize is that for the minute where she starts telling Vicious, we should overthrow the elders, that's already her play. And so she is that girl already. But you're meant to think that she's doing this to survive. But the turn is, I already broke bad like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's just the execution of it was they could have done it better.
So to me, like it would have been more if they would have kept the flashback episode, or at least minimize her emotional position on that to reconfirm her turn. It would have been better because that flashback episode did always off the pacing of it. But you would have had maybe episode like 7, like you said, and you have 3 episodes leading up to this.
You can build her up like, okay, this is what she's thinking. This is the thought process has changed, and
you could see like even though you think she feels one way, where she actually goes, why would she do that? Because that would be weird. And so you're you can maybe see her angle, but you don't, and then it reconfirms more. So once again, I guess you're right. It is a pacing issue.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why an episode like that really just throws off momentum, right? You're trying to build up for that.
I could see
finale. So again, it's nitpicks. Not I don't mind that she went that way. I think it's great. Just do it better. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's fine. It was a good show. I mean, so it's fine. It's entertaining enough. I mean, I could take it. Like if the show gets canceled, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be sad over it. If it gets renewed, okay, cool. I'll watch more. I'm like, I'm right there. Like I'm not like I can't wait to season 2. It just didn't do enough for me.
For me, it felt like I would be very interested in a season 2. I wouldn't be heartbroken if it didn't get picked up again, but I'd be like, oh, I this one felt more to me like I enjoyed this more than Jupiter's Legacy.
Oh no, yeah, that by far, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I like Jupiter's Legacy, but I enjoyed this.
Yeah, this was it had a little more fun factor to it. It's more entertaining watch. It could be flimsier, doesn't have enough weight to it, but that's fine. But yeah, I mean, like I said, and judging by the reactions, I don't know if we're gonna get a second season of this. We'll find out soon enough. I just want to show people like, oh my god, again, 50% on both critically and the audience. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Jupiter's Legacy wasn't well received either, and this is not a cheap show to do either. This is a lot of special.
Well, I think it's cheaper than Jupiter's Legacy.
It's cheaper, but it's still a lot of special effects heavy. Scientists, calm down. Special effects before we start studying stuff. Yeah, but let's see. I mean, like I said, it was fine. It was a decent watch. Not a big deal. Another show which I would definitely. I'm not glad to talk about because we talked about this one a lot, and the controversy. Well, controversy is not the right word. But I guess the backlash is what I want to say from the audience towards Kevin Smith and his treatment of the property. Of course, Masters of the Universe, where we like part 1, we call season 1, whatever. I enjoyed it. I think you did too. I know you did.
Yeah.
You know you did. And the complaints were, there's a lot of nonsense with
A lot of
Tila and no He-Man.
And it was literally the most nitpicky complaints.
The biggest. There's no He-Man and He-Man, and what we kept saying. Wait, the season 2. Wait, part 2. Wait, the part 2. Okay, you can still complain because there's still no He-Man, right? I didn't care.
There is. Are you kidding me? There's so much He-Man.
I mean, there's He-Man in the last episode. We get Prince Adam.
You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. I disagree with you.
The whole He-Man. Listen, we get a version of He-Man in 2 episodes. Let's be honest. That's what we get.
You get a version of He-Man in 2 episodes, and you get He-Man in the last episode, and you get Adam in the 2 middle. I mean,
nobody cares about it. People want to see, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying if you complained about lack of He-Man before, I don't see how that mindset is going to change watching the second part. That's all I'm saying.
I will, and I'll tell you how it changes. Because the last episode gives you all the He-Man you wanted. It is a He-Man love fest. Look at He-Man. Like he doesn't have a moment. He owns the show. Him and Tila battle for importance.
Yeah,
and each one has an arc.
I mean, this is really Tila's show. I would say more than it is He-Man.
I would say
I'm not saying negatively. I'm just saying this
only because she was the character that was active throughout most of the series.
Right. She had the arc.
She had a sense of urgency, and her objectives changed, and she grew from it. So, actually, in terms of character, she had the biggest arc.
Yeah.
But if you wanted, I just want to see He-Man be He-Man. Can I just get that? You're gonna get that.
Oh no, but they're still gonna complain because they're still gonna complain. They might even get to the last episode.
Let those babies.
I know. Listen, I'm with you.
I'm
just saying, if that was your complaint now, I don't think that's gonna change your mind here. That being said, for the rest of you who might have enjoyed the show, I liked it. It was a good ending. Again, it's not like, oh my god, world beating show. It's fine. It was well done.
It was fun.
It was fun. I liked it.
I'll tell you this. Minor spoilers, okay?
Yeah, sure.
The first episode, the fun part of it is them escaping Skeletor He-Man or Skelegod, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then the next episode is seeing Skelegod versus the way they've figured out to incorporate Barbarian He-Man, the proto He-Man, into the series, which was super fun. I really enjoyed it. The third episode, and from the third episode, I was hooked. There's a line where Princess Amara says, "She's burned heaven to the ground." Yeah, okay. I'm now in this. From that moment on, I was hooked. I was like, this is the greatest, craziest idea. Show me more. And I was in for that. So if you want a fun series that has a great He-Man finale, they stick the landing. Watch the series. Super fun.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, if you like animation, if you want to see a great, really great animated show, see Arcane. If you got time, this is another decent one. Arcane is on a different level, right? Let's be honest. Arcane is great. We're not getting into it, but you haven't seen it. Watch Arcane. It's fantastic. But this show, it's a solid, good, entertaining show. If you like part 1, see part 2. Again, it's not spectacular, but it's good. It's fine. It does what it wants to do. It has a little cheesy campiness to it that we're used to.
I kind of want to. For the next episode, I'm gonna watch all 10 episodes, and I want to see what it feels like to kind of go through the whole experience. Gotcha. Yeah, because that's the way it was told to Kevin Smith it was going to be released. Sure. So they had structured their show in that 10-episode arc. So without taking that massive of a break, I want to see what it feels like to just watch the whole thing, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't know why they did that. Fun. Whatever, it's fine. If they were done like what Arcane, they released 3 episodes every week. I'm down for that. I can't, I
that'd be
like
good
that format.
too.
I know Netflix usually just pops all episodes. It's fine. People like to binge. I get it. I prefer kind of taking my time with it. But listen, 3 a week, that's an interesting strategy. I don't know if they're going to do that for every show, but
I really enjoyed it. It made you feel like you could watch just enough to go, all right, that was a good run.
And you look forward to the next one. Like, okay, cool, Saturday, let's sit down and watch it. Oh, next.
I like that. Cool. I like it a lot.
Even just do 2 a week, I would have been even better because it keeps the conversation going for 4 or 5 weeks, whatever how long it is, supposed to just even 3 weeks or just a weekend when a show pops in, they watch it, and then move on, Right? So, I really wish Netflix would adopt that strategy. But either way, Arcane for sure. This is good. It's solid. I enjoyed it. Again, nothing spectacular, but it's fine. Good job, Kevin Smith. As far as I'm concerned.
See, you did. You did it, Kevin Smith. You can finally be validated. All your other successes meant nothing. You
right.
figured
People
out
still
how to
gonna hate
do
on
that.
you, and I get it, but whatever. It is what it is. The last one. Oh,
And by the way, real fast, how surprised were you with that almost sex scene
oh
between
my
Evelyn
God.
and Skeletor?
Oh my God.
That was, I was like, whoa,
It was
what's
kind of
happening here?
weird and
Holy crap.
creepy. I mean, whatever. But I know she's kissed. I guess they kissed. But it's got no lips. He's kissing teeth. It's so weird. It's awkward.
I loved all that. I loved all because it was so awkward.
If I'm Skeletor, I get it. Believe me. But her side is weird. But yeah, it was such a weird scene. I don't know. I was like, what am I watching? Okay, whatever, fine. It's just an awkward scene. It's weird. That's all Kevin Smith, I would assume. But it was funny though. Let's talk about the last one here. The big show, I guess, is in terms of audience anticipation, and that's Hawkeye. Disney Plus dropping 2 episodes. I think 6 total. It's gonna be. Am I wrong? 6 total. Okay.
6 total.
So we got 4 more weeks, and I think leads us into Boba Fett, maybe, or there could be some overlap.
I think the overlap. I think the last episode is when the first one comes out.
I still don't understand that, but fine.
Or it might be a day off, but I think it actually falls together.
Yeah, it's just again weird, but fine, fair enough. But yeah, so Hawkeye came out. I had my thoughts. We're sitting opposite sides of the fence on this one. I think you enjoyed it. Your thoughts in a second. I was disappointed. Listen, this is not a terrible show. It's not the worst show. But for me, I'll say this. This was definitely the best show Marvel's released this week. But it's been the worst show out of the four. I think this has been the weakest one for me personally. I just had so much issues with this, man. It was really nothing special about this. Listen, I love what's her face,
Amanda,
who plays Kate Bishop. Oh my God, I can't think of her name. I don't know why.
Amanda Seyfried?
No. Stanley Hayfield, whatever her name is, who plays Kate Bishop, the actress.
Okay, Kate Bishop.
Okay. She's great, and in other stuff here, and it's not her. The character is just like, oh gosh, she's privileged white girl. Is whining. Okay. Why do we care? I mean, to me, it's like, why am I caring about this character? I get Hawkeye, I get it, and I like him.
It's really funny because she's not like that in the comics, and I actually enjoy the change. I thought the way they played her was really fun to watch because in the comics she's almost too assertive and too serious for her age and her experience. And they played it off as because she's been training herself to be this archer and this fighter and this athletically physical person. She's very focused. So she almost lacks interpersonal people skills. She's very direct. And to make her sort of like a little nervous and awkward, but very capable, but doesn't know. Her inability for social experience is not being direct, but almost trying to do 8 different versions of what she thinks people want to hear when they talk to someone to sound nice because she doesn't know how to do that part. I found that interesting, and I actually enjoy that part because, and maybe the series did a lot of shortcuts to imply things without telling you things. Like in the first episode, the intro credit sequence is her training growing up, but it maybe would have been better to see her develop like that because then you would understand it's like, oh, she's really capable physically. Like when she sets her body to what she needs to do, her body can accomplish those things. But to talk to somebody normally, she's like, so hi, you doing? Hello. I mean, is this awkward? Okay, how about I try? It's very over there because that's instead of her just going, hi, I'm Kate Bishop. Like, whoa, calm the fuck down, lady. So her awkwardness is part of the fact that that's the one thing she doesn't know because she doesn't understand she's not very effective in her passive social cues. And so to me, I enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld, that's her name. Sorry. I knew something. But yeah, listen, I just wasn't big on her. I just was. And the story's about her, right? Hawkeye, he's just there. Which is cool. I don't like Hawkeye. God, there's something wrong with it. So much. The sweat, whatever they call them.
The tracksuit mafia is fucking
so
dope.
stupid.
Go fuck yourself. But that's the whole point. Like they are a comedic relief. They're still credible threats.
The minute they make them credible, they're not credible. There's no weight to the show because these are the bumbling idiots. Whatever. I'm sure Kate Bishop's a badass, and not that I ever show her that she's being a badass, but This is
the
so
whole like they
stupid.
to me they play like that in the comics, and I love
Like I
like they
said,
were
some
exactly
things
what
you
I
can
wanted from
change
it.
from
They
the
were
comics.
no,
There's
they
the
are
ones.
great.
Wait,
They
this is
are
great.
but you know what it is. I'll tell you what it is. The Tracksuit Mafia is a gang of Turks from the Netflix Marvel series. Turk, how showed up in everyone, and he was like, "Oh shit, man, I'm sorry." Like they are a gang of Turks. They are legit in their world, but when they meet a superhero, they come off like a bunch of jokes because that's how above them the superhero is. That's what makes them great. Because compared to Hawkeye, they are jokes. That's how good they are. And like I don't even want to get into it, but the guy who had his face covered, who's like sort of like a semi leader of the Bros. His name is called the Clown, and he is scary awesome. And I think they're positioning him as the leader of it. So I'm really excited. And the big reveal in the comics is that the Tracksuit Mafia works as low level, like first level enforcement for
Right,
the
of course, yeah.
Kingpin. The Kingpin assesses how much of a problem the neighborhood is going to give him based on the level of resistance that the Tracksuit Mafia
There's
has. So I
there's a
love
scene.
that aspect of it. And if you
The scene where they throw the cocktail Molotov cocktails into the apartment.
right,
If you
and he
that's
catches
fine.
it
That
and
was
throws
cool.
it
That
back.
was cool. But when the first, I mean, obviously it makes sense for him to stand in the middle of the street to do that. Go to the apartment, guys.
Right.
It's retarded. But there's a scene. They're just standing there, and one guy's doing this. Like, dude, I saw a meme already about it. It's hilarious. Put that episode again. Watch that scene. A couple of guys are doing this like monkeys, like that. And I caught it because a friend told me about it. So you just look at the other guys are moving around that scene. Dude, it's so stupid. It's so bad. They got great bait back. Dude, no, for no reason. They stand.
Okay.
That's how they stand. It's so
Let,
stupid.
let,
It's so
let me
bad.
just say,
It's
let
so
me just
bad.
say that exact observation I've made countless times in a club in Miami. Look at
That's
a bunch of
fine,
guys
but
sitting
I
around like
expected a
a
bunch
bunch
of
of
monkeys
monkeys.
doing that stuff. But
So if anything, so what you're saying is, can you believe the audacity of the show taking a real
oh
world
yeah,
observation and putting it
I
in our
get it because I
superhero?
see Tracksuit
So
Mafia at the clubs here in Miami all the time. Oh my god.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The
But that's
baby
how bad.
t-shirt
But that's
mafia,
how.
whatever you want
Look,
to
I get
call
it.
it.
You might love them,
It's
but you can't have a bad guy that's just dumb. It just doesn't work, dude. It doesn't. They're
they're not,
retarded.
but they're not
They're
the bad
stupid.
guys.
They
They
don't make any
are
sense. They do
goons, and
dumb
I
things.
love
Look,
it.
if the show is a
I
comedy
love
because
the
it's not
goons.
funny. But if it was a comedy, I'm with you. The show's not that funny. It's not even a.
You
It's
know,
not,
it's
but
not a wah wah
you
wah.
bury
No,
laugh. It's one of the worst
that is
humor in Marvel. It's just not funny. So you have these guys who are just. It's just not fun. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's no stakes to the show when your villains are so stupid. So, oh yeah, who is she in danger from? Nobody. A girl with no experience has never even fought a real life, and it doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. And then she comes out of the house. She comes out of the house.
because
No one followed her, right? And they're waiting for her to spring a trap. How did he know she was even there, coming out of that side street? It's such terrible writing.
Wait,
It's
could it be?
Stop.
Could it be?
Nobody
Wait,
followed her. They covered every street in the city of New York.
Shut up.
There's two
You don't know what I'm
streets.
about to say. You don't know what I'm about to say. Shut up and listen, for Christ's sake. Only because I know a little bit more. I'm about to nerdsplain it to you.
Go
dummy.
ahead, nerd scientist. Go ahead. I want to hear this.
So the guy who's dating Kate Bishop's mom, DuCont, he's actually a character from Marvel Comics called the Swordsman, which is why he's really into swords. And he actually is revealed to have been the guy who trained Hawkeye on how to be an archer and how to be like focused on targets and everything like that. Okay. He eventually becomes an Avenger, but before he's an Avenger, he becomes a villain. I think they're dropping him becoming an Avenger to keep on just a villain aspect. So he, as a villain, works with other organizations, and you know that he had beef with his, I believe that was his uncle, the third. So what if, because the Tracksuit Mafia works for him, because he is in cahoots with, I don't know, what's one of the only major crime or leaders in New York right now? Oh, the Kingpin. So him and the Kingpin are working. The Kingpin gives him the Tracksuit Mafia to kind of handle his dirty business while trying to get what he needs to get done. And because he went and killed his uncle, The tracksuit mafia was told to be there to make sure that no one follows him or no one goes into the house, to make sure that no one can associate him to the murder. And that's when they see Ronan sneaking Manny, but forgot, like, holy crap, like the boss got away, but that's the Ronan. That makes perfect sense.
I mean, listen, at the Georgia Institute of Technology, that makes perfect sense.
That makes no perfect sense.
I say, listen.
Your comment makes no sense.
I get it.
Makes a little bit of sense.
I can throw a million theories out there as well, right? But the point is, the show has to present something to you, right? And that's represented, right? The guys who sprung a trap on someone who had no idea she was going to pop up on that side street in New York, of which you live there. There's 1,000 side streets, and they just happen to be the one she popped up. It's retarded. It's bad writing. When she goes to the place of the auction, she decides to wear the black thing and it just happens to match what they're wearing. It's so stupid. It's just so convenient. It's awkward. It's dumb. It's really bad. It's not even objective, subjective. It's bad writing. That's what it is. You can theorize oh man, she wore the black because one day she walked by and saw Wade on black and it's just subconsciously in her head, and so she wore the same tie. Stop, dude. She wore a tie and the jacket exactly like the waiters who she's never met in her life, and it's happened to match so she can blend in and sneak away. Dude, it's bad, shitty writing. It's no way around it, Eric. I'm sorry. It's bad writing. There's nothing you can say to justify that part.
I'm going to tell you, I actually did not register the thing about that she was dressed exactly like that, and that's why he wore it. I was like, as you were talking, I was like, okay, I can see that. So I will give you that. I did not even take that into consideration. Like, how
bad writing
it is.
It's bad writing.
I will say this. I was attending a comic book convention. And they had a panel on different comic book writers, and they were asking the comic book writers questions. And somebody asked the panel, how do you guys justify when you have these convenient things like, Spider-Man is just walking down the street, and he's walking in San Francisco, and he walks down the street and he bumps into Green Goblin. How do you justify that? Because just how convenient is that? Like, he's in a whole other city, in a other state. Why is he bumping into a supervillain? Like, what? Don't you feel like that's just sort of like you like filling an issue, like meeting a quota? And the different comic writers are like, well, yeah, sometimes, yeah, you're right, you're filling an issue, but you're doing this just to kind of keep the pace going because you want to tell a story. A lot of stuff we talked about with Cowboy Bebop in terms of pacing and showing different depths to character, that kind of stuff. Even if it's a side story, that element gives you a reason why his personality is going to react that way later on. So you need those little side tangents, blah, blah, blah. And they got to this one writer who was writing X-Men at the time, or Cable at the time. His name is Scott Lobdell, I believe. And he goes, let me tell you a story. I lived in San Francisco, and then I moved to New York. And the reason why I moved to New York is because I took a job. The reason why I took the job in New York is because I just went through a major breakup. And everywhere I went, I kept bumping into my ex-girlfriend. I was like, I got to go away. So I moved to New York. I'm there for like 3 months. I'm just starting to get my groove going. And I go to meet some friends at a bar. And I walk into the bar, and there's my ex-girlfriend with some other dude because she was vacationing in New York. So because that happened to me, I can write Cable turns a corner and there's apocalypse, because sometimes shit like that just happens. And so every time I think about like how fucking convenient it is, and I go, well, sometimes shit like that just happens. So that, to me, once again, my background allows me to appreciate that more, maybe.
Probably. But I mean, listen, it's not an awful show. It's just, for Marvel, it's very low end. This made me want to go watch Eternals.
No, that does not make me. I'm still good. With Eternals. Like, I've seen that movie. I could actually watch these 2 episodes again. I got to tell you, I like the pacing. I like the little noir aspects. I like the light sort of like Keystone Cop comedy aspect, which is what the bros are supposed to be. They are the Wile E. Coyotes of the Hawkeye series. And the thing, and maybe that's the thing that you haven't really gotten a feeling of, is like they're not supposed to be taken seriously, but they do have the potential to hurt everyone else around Hawkeye. So that's where Hawkeye's mad. It's like, it's not like I got to stop these guys. If I don't stop these guys, they're going to mess up everyone else around me. I'll survive because these guys are idiots, but everyone else is in danger.
It's about Kate Bishop. This should have called it Kate Bishop, which I would have been fine with. I really would have been fine with.
Well,
Right,
she
exactly. She's the
becomes
new
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye,
That's the reason why it's called
whatever. Or
Hawkeye.
passing
This
the
is the
torch. I
passing the
get it,
minutes
but it's just
exactly.
I don't know, man. And the show could get better. Don't get me wrong, and I hope it does because it can't get any worse.
Well, it
Well,
can't. First of all, it
well,
can
maybe
get
it can
worse. It
get
could
worse. And you're
totally get
right. Yeah,
worse.
yeah.
It could become
Well,
Inhumans.
but
So
humans was
let's
well. The
be.
humans started
I'm
off
saying
like shit
it
from the
could get
beginning. This one
worse.
is not good. I'm not saying it's the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's just. But the humans was terrible from the get go. Humans was garbage. I
Sure,
mean, like
yeah,
straight
exactly.
ate garbage. Right? It was just
Garbage,
nonsense.
not good.
But this is not
But
nonsense. It's just not
I'll
well
say
done.
this. I'll put it
But it can
this
get
way.
worse, I guess.
The things that I'm seeing in the show that make me excited about it, that you haven't really seen Hawkeye cut loose really yet, and I want to see that. You've got an allusions to it. You've seen him like rough up a few people here and there, but you haven't seen Hawkeye like be fucking Hawkeye. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm a huge fan of Pizza Dog because one of my favorite issues in the Hawkeye run is an entire episode told through the eyes of Pizza Dog, who eventually gets named Lucky. And if they could even do like Pizza Dog B story through the eyes of Pizza Dog, I'm going to be excited.
I like the
so
dog.
I'm looking forward to that. And
That was great. The dog is great.
the dog is great. And then the last thing, the end of episode 2 introduces Echo. And that just got me super excited because Echo brings us one step closer to Kingpin, brings us one step closer to Daredevil. So all these things. Plus, we haven't even seen the new Black Widow come after him yet, and she's supposed to show.
There's a lot of things going on, but
fun
with
things that I
4
know are
episodes
gonna,
left, it's a lot to pack in. So I'm kind of curious. So in that sense, I guess it could get worse. I think it's going to get better, personally.
I think
it's a lot to pack in
get a lot
4
better
episodes. It's just I don't want like a Doom Patrol situation where things get kind of glossed over really quick at the end. I like Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I could. Yeah,
but there's potential there. I don't think it's going to happen. But it's there.
I think the potential, as long as if you have 4 episodes to go, right? You have 4 episodes to go, and you have 3 big draw points. You could do that every episode, and then close with just your main
have to really
characters.
Dance around it.
That's how you do it. In my opinion,
listen. This next is going to be the key, right? This is the one that's going to keep me in and out because because we got to move the story here. It's just I think they could have done the first 2 in an episode. I think for the most part. When you got 6 episodes, it's not enough time to waste. Let's get to it, right? We talked about other shows that like Loki did that, right? They got right to the point. Let's do this, right? From the get-go, it's great setup.
Well, actually, if you think about it, Loki introduced a premise, and then they spend one episode on that premise,
right?
And then the third episode
on it's a different kind of show. This is more ground level. It's just very simple.
Right.
This is Kate Bishop. She's her. And this is Meets Hawkeye, and let's go. Whatever, right? Mafia, and she stole the suit. Whatever. But I hope. Listen. I don't think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get better. Can it get worse? Of course it can. Any show can get worse, right? Let's be honest. I don't think it will. But
if this show makes me feel it lands on the same level as Winter Soldier, I'll be happy. I feel like right now, because of what I've seen and what I know is coming, maybe it's because what I know is coming as a comic book fan and someone who actually hears about the rumors, everything. Maybe because of that, I'm feeling this is a little bit better than Winter Soldier, not in terms of like action sequences, but in terms of like the overall story so far and like how I'm feeling while watching it. I'm excited for the 3rd episode. If the 3rd episode keeps us going, I'm in. And if it gets worse, then I'll have to agree with you. Like this show kind of missing opportunity.
Let's see.
I think
I'm only judging the first
I'm
episode. That's all I
excited.
can do, right? And it is what it is, right? The show could end up being fantastic for all I know. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because actually, all the shows have been good. But just thus far, just the beginning of it is not what I wanted. I'm like, okay, it's weird. And for me, if I don't like the main character, that's a problem. I like the dog more, and that's not a good thing.
Well, if it's 2 out of 3
Hawkeye's great. Hawkeye's great, but he's established. He's not against a new guy, right? So it's easy to write in. But like it's like if you like the dog more than John Wick, that's a problem, right? You gotta like John Wick more than the dog. You can like the dog, but it can't be. But
John Wick's really.
You can't like the dog more than Kate Bishop. That's a problem. Maybe she gets better as a character. Right now, she's just not. It's just okay. She's whatever. It's just I don't know what it is, and I'm not blaming her. Just I think it's how she's written. I
would like for her to be more direct when she's like on as because she's still learning to be a superhero. So maybe her direct nature will be when she becomes Hawkeye specifically, especially she gets like purple glasses that she wears, and that's sort of like her mask is just her glasses. So maybe when she gets that, she becomes a assertive, straightforward Kate Bishop.
But some people hated that. People told me they didn't like. I was fine with that because look, she's 22. She hasn't done it before, so I can get that. She falls through the skylight, silly, whatever, and it's kind of dumb, but I can forgive it because She's not done it before, so I can let
Because she's
that
never
slide.
done it
All
before.
people like really hated that, and I'm like, I was like,
Right.
you know, I get it, but she's a seasoned like Hawkeye. If that was Hawkeye, I'd be like, dude, that's just plain stupid. Right? Just is
Exactly.
ridiculous. So
Exactly.
I
But
forgave that. I was fine with that part. Of like,
that's
okay, yeah.
why I loved Hawkeye so much when he was like talking to his wife. He's like, so I'm gonna get myself captured now. And she's like, oh, capture
Oh,
release.
right,
She's
right.
like,
He knows
so
stuff,
she already
right?
knows
That's
like his moves.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you got me. And like all that kind of shit was like,
Yeah, it
this
was kind of
that's
it
how
was a cool
badass
callback
an
to
Avenger
the
is.
first
Like
time we
this.
met. Well, the first time we see Black Widow in Avengers, when he's tied up in a chair and she's just
Right.
buying her time, and okay, she breaks free. And same thing.
Yeah.
That was a cool,
Like
cool
that,
callback to that.
that
I
kind
like
of
that.
stuff.
That was nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
nice.
So I like stuff like it. So that's how I was like, that's how cool he's like. He knows there's 20 guys with guns on him, and he's like, I got like a 60% chance of getting out of here
He has
without
experience.
scratch.
That's fine. Like, but again, if it was him doing that, I'd be like falling off. I'm like, dude, come on, bro, really? that really bad.
I think that's
really
the
bad.
fun. To me, I like that. I like seeing.
Yeah, but with her,
experience
like that part of her character,
so
I'm
cool
fine
under
with
pressure.
her. She doesn't know what's going on. And I get it. Listen, she's just figuring it out.
Right, exactly.
It's fine. All right, she's gonna fall down, do stupid shit, and experience. We'll teach her whatever. So I'm okay with that, and I hope that improves. And we'll see fumbling around the whole damn show. Be like, okay, that's a bit much. It's eventually she's got a scene that she can handle the mantle of being Hawkeye at some point. Where we're gonna have to see that transition.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right.
I'm assuming that's the idea.
By the end of the 6th episode, she will take her first 5 steps.
Yeah,
like,
she's not going to be
first
Hawkeye. She's Hawkeye in the show. That's a bit much too.
Right.
All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh,
you're right, exactly.
Calm down. We're building her up, right?"
She's not going to
right, yeah.
Like, oh man, I did it on my 18 shot.
Exactly. If we see that, that's a problem, right? So I get, the way when you brought it up, maybe the show can get worse. I just don't think it is. It could, but I don't. I mean, it could be a shitty start and it gets really good, and we have a different conversation next week about their episode was amazing.
Sure.
Great. Oh, okay, great, or it's back on track again. So let's see. Again, this is just the first 2 episodes.
For me, it's just up in the ante. I like to track its on, just up in the ante a little bit more. That's it.
She's the biggest problem. If I liked her, I wouldn't mind some of the shit going on. But I got like the main character. With Eternals, the same thing. There was no one there to really like, get behind and really support. Same. If Hawkeye wasn't in the show, this show would be really bad, dude. He keeps the show afloat because he's great. And I like Jeremy Renner. I like that. And the Steve Rogers thing was funny, by the way. We didn't mention Steve Rogers. I'll do this all day.
I can do this all day as a song.
That was genius.
Great reference to that. Absolutely.
Stupid looking Hulk with the hoodie. It's so cheesy, but it's
amazing.
The
hoodie. Yeah. What I was watching that episode with my kids, and when we realized that the guy with the green hoodie is Hulk, but I was just telling my kids about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark because I saw it on Broadway. And my son goes, "Oh, it must have been, this was like one of those Spider-Man costumes." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. That's perfect. Good
that's
for you.
hilarious.
I love you.
But yeah, that's. I would love to see that show. By the way, sign me up. I'll go see Steve Rogers. I think that was great. That was really cool.
Yeah.
But again,
let's see.
Hawkeye shouldn't carry it. It should be her carrying the show ultimately, and because it's her. I know they call it Hawkeye, but it's her show. He's there. He's a supporting factor.
Let's hope that maybe they pace it in a way where he starts off structurally the center, and then by episode 3, there's a shift where she becomes the center. So that'll be kind of interesting. Which I think that's why they made her mom get involved with the sword. Because he's going to be like, it's going to be her story carrying forward, where he's going to be the guy on top, and so she's going to have to handle that. And Clint can handle like either Echo or the Tracksuit Mafia or the other Black Widow, Yelena Black Widow.
Lawrence
so
Pugh,
you can split the attention. Yeah, you can split the attention both ways, but have her carry. I think that'd be good.
Episode 6 or something. Oh God.
Yeah. I
she
want to see
it's
that episode where they actually go.
I don't want to see that. That would suck. That would suck. Give me an episode of her going against Hawkeye 1-on-1, and he has to convince her he killed Black Widow. Yada yada.
I would like to see after he beats Yelena Black Widow, she's maybe somewhere like either just contemplating or licking her wounds, depending how the fight gets to how bad it is. And that's when U.S. agent comes in. and he's like, we're getting called in, suit up, we're getting called in, and like I'll be like, that'd be dope.
Right, and I'm hoping that's not all we get of her, because they could just show us that, like, she's there and watching him, and then, oh, by the way, we gotta go, whatever. I don't want to see that. Give me her in the damn role. It's some capacity.
Yeah, give
in the
her
show.
a fight scene,
right?
A moment, and then she goes away, and then you're like, you messed up. He goes, I was what was told was a real. He's like, well, do you think we can trust her? I got to know. We'll suit up because we got to go. Like, so now there's a level where she doesn't necessarily trust Valentina because she lied to her about the aspect.
Yeah. So let's see. Hopefully that's a concern. But thinking of 4 episodes, that's a lot to do.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get Kingpin, nothing like that. I'd be shocked if we get that, to be honest with you.
We'll get Kingpin. I mean, he's not going to be a major,
I can see him mentioning the name.
Because you'll see him because the Tracksuit Mafia works for the Kingpin. So I think there'll be a moment where they have to, and maybe that's the second post credit.
Oh, like that?
Maybe
Yeah, I'm talking like in the show. Like in the show, I could see him. I could see him just say we work for Kingpin.
Well,
not necessarily
here's the thing.
show him.
The Tracksuit Mafia. The reason why Echo's there, because Echo is one of the Kingpin's main assassins. So she could report to Kingpin and go, we have a problem, and have that issue too. But at the same time, she rebels against Kingpin because of finding out later that he's responsible for her dad.
We know she's getting her show. That was announced. So yeah,
there's a lot of stuff you could do. You have to do.
That's a small
scene. Even in the middle of the series, you get a small scene.
Too much setup and not focusing on the story at hand. You know what I'm saying? Potentially.
Listen, if
Age of Ultron.
Both episodes were about 40 minutes, right? Yeah, so they're not sticking to 30 on these. They're doing closer to 40.
I know the credits are long as shit. I get it, but I say 42.
Right, whatever. But here's the thing: if you're doing 40 minutes, it's almost an hour. If you streamline whatever a movie, an episodic hour show, take a B plot out completely, and just focus on what's going on, you can jam a lot into that. And so it's got to pace it out.
It's hard to do. It's not easy to do. I'm afraid they're trying to. We're gonna set up Echo. So we need. We don't need all that. Echo could be our own thing that happen, and the events happen on that show. It doesn't have to happen in this show to set up Echo.
I don't think they're gonna set up like clear. I think this is more like introduction and reference, and then the setups we handle somewhere else. Yes, but you can have those characters just like you show them as a transitional character. Like, who the fuck is that guy? All you got to know is this is what this guy looks like, and this is how this guy acts.
That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to do too much on this show. It's a concern. If they try to pack in all these storylines, then it just takes away from Hawkeye and keep it show. Again, it has this will go one way or another. Like I said, it could really go really bad or go good. I mean, let's see. It's, like I said, right now I think it's going to my feeling, it will get better. Despite what I saw, I think
so too.
Beginning, fine. It's how you end, not how you begin. The anti-Titans.
Absolutely.
We've seen the opposite. Work out. So, but that being said, so we'll obviously talk about this one next week, and I think it's just dropping one. Yeah, they are. It's just one. Yeah, it's just one. Yeah,
just one. Yeah, it's just this is just to hook people because it's Thanksgiving, and if you need a reason to walk away from your family for a little bit, you have 2 episodes of Hawkeye, all of Cowboy Bebop, an entire second half of He-Man or Masters of the Universe. So there's many things.
Arcane above any of these shows, as far as I'm concerned.
Arcane is clearly it's weird that we talked about 3 shows and the one that was the best one we haven't talked about at all, except to say it's great. You should watch it. Don't worry about that. Let's focus on this.
I know how. No, I know. It's just one of the things that we just didn't.
Series.
I don't think you realized about it, and even how good it was going to be. It just kind of gets.
We should talk about it next episode because now that all 9 episodes are out, we can do a whole series.
There's one show to watch.
But
that one. Above these.
Arcane is the show to watch, and then after that, it would be these 3 shows in whatever order you find most interesting.
Because you can only see 2 of Hawkeye ultimately. So,
so I would say Cowboy Bebop, and then He-Man, and then Hawkeye, just ascending orders of episode availability,
and catch a 8-bit Halloween Christmas on HBO Max. I haven't seen that. Haven't seen it yet either, but
I have not seen it.
You'd appreciate it because it's Doogie. What's Doogie's name? Neil Patrick Harris, right? He's like, it's a Christmas movie, family film, which is fine. And from what I saw in the trailer, he's kind of telling, he's got a young girl and a daughter, and he's telling her about one of his favorite Christmases, and it's a Christmas where back in the 80s, where he really wanted the Nintendo Entertainment System. So it's a story about him as a kid trying to able to get that, and it sold out everywhere. It just appeals like nostalgia porn here to us who grew up with that stuff. You know, and I actually heard it's pretty interesting.
Sure.
It's funny because there's like in the trailer, it's a scene where it says it's 1987 or something like that, and it showed 1987 on the screen. And the daughter's like, wait, wasn't it this year? It's like, oh yeah, you're right, 88. And he's like, and he erases 88, sometime in the 80s. So that's what it puts in there. So, you know, it was kind of like, okay, like that was fun.
Perfect.
You're right, it's in the 80s. The years you better make it, damn, it's the 80s.
I got.
It looks like nostalgia porn.
You crowded my day
like nostalgia porn. Yeah, so check that out. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's good. I was gonna watch it this weekend, but I'll throw you away, Eric. Maybe you might enjoy that because it's NES.
Well,
hello.
I'll tell you what. After I finish watching it, I would tweet out my opinions on it on our Twitter, which is Nerdsplaining _. Don't always check us out there. We'll put up any articles that we find very interesting, something where per episode are out there. We'll always post where our new episodes are coming out as well. So check out that. Or you can check us out on Instagram at NerdsplainingPod as well. And you can check out all the original audio episodes on my website, ericdasilva.com, which you can also buy my album, Adorably Offensive, which is a great Christmas present. And if you buy it tomorrow on Black Friday, it will cost you the same price as it costs all year round. It's only $10.99. Don't be a cheap ass. Just fucking buy
Black Friday, so baby.
Come on, step up your game. Yeah, that's it. Just be for crying out loud. And that's it. And don't forget, you can check out all our video episodes on the Latin Nerd News channel on YouTube, where you listen to Nerdsplaining or The Watch List or the Thanos Snap series, where we're trying to compare two IPs and which one should survive. It's a lot of fun. Usually I'm right, even when I don't win. I'm still right.
And I'll put a link to that last episode. We compared Braveheart and Gladiator and Old School and Groundhog Day. Good discussion. I'll put a link to that at the end of the show. It was actually
tough battle. Absolutely. But, so it was pretty good. But guys, that has been the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the messages, all the people liking it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. We appreciate that as well. It lets us know that we can maybe do this one day full time and not have to do jobs. So that'd be fantastic. And keep following us and let us know what you think we should watch, and let us know what you think about our reviews and what we nerdsplain to you guys out there. So as always, my name is Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now